在钢琴的保证不会死。爱自己，就有人会爱你，这乐观的说辞。幸福的样子，我感觉好真实，找不到形容词。沉默在掩饰快泛滥的激情，只剩下雨珠子。有一种踏实，但不喊我名字。落叶的位置。无助的收拾，时间在消失，我们的故事开始，这是第一次，让我见识爱情可以看开又自私，你是我的关键词。太专注，爱最好的方式是自我名字。每天告诉你，分手的感情却又忘词。在自己而哭声有时我不想看字。有一种踏实是你心中有我名字。消失，时间在消失，我不是开始，这是第一次，让我见识爱情可以看开又自私，是我的关键词。你曾在这次。Hello everyone. So our live show will start in 10 minutes. So we are preparing for the live show. And today the live show topic is like to relate to the technical problems. So we will start soon. So hello everyone. So I think for the previous live show, maybe many clients will know about our device and about the products. So today we will introduce the IO8T, which we will introduce in detail about this kind of device. So we will introduce about some parameters and specifications, and also the software and some test tools. So according to this kind of introduction, so maybe we'll let you know more about this kind of device and how it works and how it will give you some the features. So good afternoon, Joga. 有吗？那就这样，最好是就个，但是我连没关系的，可以再连。直接插线的，我咋的好？Yes, the first that you asked the question. So the question for the temperature measurement, the accuracy is like plus and minus 0.3 Celsius degree. So 为什么说点2？他这样说法跟there are many questions from the friends from Dubai, and later we will introduce in details and we'll tell you more about this kind of device and all the features it has. Okay, so the lecture will start here. So first, let me do a brief introduction about me and our company. So I'm Austin from the technical department. So also an engineer about in the company, and later my assistant, another engineer, also another engineer, Adam will bring the device here and we will introduce for you. And today, our live show, the topic is about the technical support of this kind of device. So the device we introduce is the IO8T. So which will have the thermometer feature about this kind of device. It's a face recognition device. So the whole live show will divide into 3 parts. So the first part is like we will introduce the appearance of this kind of the device and some specifications. And second part is about the functions, which will include the hardware interface and the software part. The software part will have some different sections to introduce. So the last section is like the Q&A section. So maybe some friends can ask some questions about this kind of device, and we will answer for the questions. So let's move to the first part. We introduce the kind of device. So here I got the device here. So this is our device, IO8T. So which include which is the face recognition device. So this kind of device has the thermometer, as you can see here. This is the sensor to detect the temperature. So there are other functions like the camera. For this kind of device, the camera is dual camera. Here you can see there are two cameras here. So one is for RGB camera and the other is the IR infrared camera. So the pixel is like the RGB is 2 megapixel, and the other one, the IR, is the 1.3 megapixel. So here is from the top to the bottom, where I introduced in detail. So in the bottom is the screen. This device has the 8-inch screen. So the screen with the resolution is like 1280 times 800. So it's very large screen, and it will display a lot of information for you. And next is here at the top. This is the card module area. So this area you can, for this kind of device, you can customize for choose built-in card module or with the external card module. So if the built-in card module you select it is installed here, so you can read the card for the IC card to reading the card number to do the card recognition. So you can see this. This is the device. See closely. And we have different type of device. For this one, we choose is for the turnstile. You can stick this kind of device installed on the turnstile, and also with another metal support, and you can install on the desktop and make it very stable on to display or detect. And the other one here we got is the desktop version. It's very nice and very beautiful design. So this is the outlook of this kind of device, and we introduced. And so move to the next part is like the functions introduction. So the next part for the functions, we will talk about two sections. One is the hardware interface, and then the other part is of course about the software. So the software also very powerful with this kind of device will have very powerful function. So let's move to the hardware part first. So for hardware, it's very simple, and we will introduce like here the hardware interface. This kind of device will support. As you can see here, there are a lot of different interface that can be used, and I will introduce one by one. And for the first one, this one is reset button. So this reset button for you, that is hardware button. So you can press here to reset this kind of device. If you have some issue or if you want to change another place to use the kind of device and you need to do a reset, and you can use this kind of button to reset the device. And this is the first one. And second one is about the network. So this device supports two ways of connecting the network. One is the wired network. So you use this kind of RJ45 port to connect the network cable and to get the network. So another one is that to connect the Wi-Fi. This device support the Wi-Fi connection to connect with the network. So this is the second one, and the third one is this pin, and this pin is for the serial port. So maybe some customer will buy this device to commit to link with other external module. For example, the card reader, or they have their own card reader. You can use this kind of module, this pin port to connect. And for the yellow port, it has the Waken port and the Waken in and Waken out. So this kind of device supports the Waken 26 and 34 2-bit pins of Waken. So you can connect this Waken port to the maybe control board or other external module and to use the function. And the device can output the person ID or the card ID and some other information through the Waken port. And the fourth one is here. This is a USB port. You can connect USB port with, for example, the very simple way is like you can connect here with the mouse. And after you connect here with the mouse, and you can use the mouse to control of this kind of device, to do some configuration or do some setting to the device, because this device is running the Android system, so you can do some Android settings through the mouse to control it. And there's one port missing is here, this small one with 2 pin ports. This is the relay port, and which means it can output the relay signal to do some access control. For example, you can connect this kind of relay port to the tunnel cell or to the electronic magnetic lock. So, for example, you connect this kind of, and this device can control it to design when to open the door and turn the tunnel cell. So use this kind of port. And here, of course, here is the power port, which used to connect with the power because the device needs power. So then these are the hardware interface introduced. This port and well, for example, if you buy this kind of device, we also provide documents about how these kind of ports are used, and they will be described in the document. So here the hardware is very simple, and you can know it very well when you read the document, and also with some experienced customer, and they will have their technician and who know how to connect with this kind of device with the like control board and the access control system. It's very easy. And so this is the hardware interface part, and next will be the software part. So for the software part, it's quite long. Maybe it will take a long time because the software part will have a lot of information to introduce. So for the software part, we will separate also for 3 sections. So the first one is like we will introduce a tool, a setting tool, because this kind of tool is very simple software. and which we are used for, because this kind of device is support to customer can buy and develop their own software, so which will use the API. The device will provide the software API for you to how to achieve different functions by software, and how to control this kind of device through the network. And the tool is very useful software, and to test the API, how it works, and how when customer develop their software, they will test whether this kind of logic is correct, or whether this kind of design can be successful communicate with the device. So this tool will be used for testing and debugging. And the next part is like to introduce the client system, which is very powerful desktop management software. This software can do the different functions, like the personal management, and also the device management, and also to record to save the store the records from the device, and do some checking, because some clients will use the kind of software to achieve the access records, and they will use the records to do some attendance and also other features. So that software will include those kind of functions. So and the last part of the software part, I will also do some brief introduce about the API document, because a lot of clients will ask the question like how this kind of device to achieve to develop the software through a different language, developer language use, and also, so it is for this kind of device is very simple. So we will introduce the API, how it can achieve to control the device through the API. And so let's move to the first part to introduce the face tool. Because this is using the YouTube to do the Steam live show. So it's I will use this camera to shoot the screen of the PC. So let you see the screen. So I will turn this camera to the other direction. So is that clear for you guys to see the screen? Maybe a little bit further. Okay, so this is the screen of the PC. So first we will introduce the face tool, which is a simple tool to how to test of this kind of device, and also to see how the API works on this device. So firstly, we will run this face tool. So the interface is very simple, because it's just a testing tool how to communicate with the device. So when you run this kind of face tool, and the first time we need to do is like to link the device. because we will communicate with the device, so we need to add the connection between the PC and the device. So our device will use the IP address to do the connection. So first we need to check, what we need to do is like to check the device IP, because when the device is powered on and you can see here.
Please wear a mask.
So this is the main interface of the device, and you can see here has the IP and some basic information, and we need the IP display on the device to do the connection. So first we need to do is like to make the device link to the network. So we will connect the device with the network. Here has a tips for communicate with the software, because the first thing is like the device and the PC need to be connected with the same network, because they need to do in the same line work, LAN network together, and then it will be communicated together. So we first we will connect the device with the network, and then we will change the IP here. So now the device will show the IP. After the device can connect with the network, and it will show you the IP here. So use this IP to insert with the tool. And here, as we can see, this 0, so 157. And after insert the IP here, and then we add a connection here. And now we can get read the SN. You see, the SN number of the device will automatically get, which is the same.
Please wear a mask.
Which is the same shown here. So it will get the SN number. Once you get the SN number, which means the connection is already completed, and then you can set the password, because some customer always ask the question like, why my do the other features that the device cannot receive the command, and also cannot do. The first thing is like, every time, the first time you use this kind of device, you need to set this kind of device password. So after you read the SN to ensure the connection is done, and then you need to set the password. So when you set here, as you can see, the password is 123456789. So here, which means the device password is already set. Because this is very important. Every time the tool communicate with the device, it will use this kind of password. You can customize as you can reset it by yourself. And after you, because each time the command will send with the password. If the password is wrong, and then the command will be not success. So after do this, and you can see here there are several buttons, which is to to set the different functions. Like here, this is set time, and to set a time to the device, and the device will initialize the time display. And here, reset device. This button is the same as the we introduced for the hardware interface, like the reset button. So this button is the same functions with that hardware button. So it will reset the whole device. And here is the restart device. When you click it, the device will be rebooted. And here, the open door remotely. So after you click this button, and it will tell the device to short circuit the relay signal. So which means it will control the thermostat or the door access, and the door will open. As you can see, this sample tool, so here are some basic parameter. The first time you use the device, you will move to this part to do the configuration of the device. It's very simple, and as it named, like the first device name here, when you change the parameter here, and the the device will show the name of on the main interface, and later I will show you the effect how this change, and the device will show display the functions. And here is the recognition distance. You can select 0.5, 1, and other meters. So and here recognition score 80. This is the threshold value, which means that for the face recognition, so when you set is the highest number is 80. So if the recognition score is higher than 80, then this kind of recognition will be set as the person. So for example, if my face detected like the score is below the 80, and then it will be not recognized. So this value can be set by yourself according to the use environment. So this one recognition space default is 0. So normally for the use, this parameter will not be set. So the open delay is like to set the delay time for the open door delay, like the relay signal. After the face recognition is done, and then it will control the relay to open door, and how long this kind of period will stay, and it will set here. For example, 5 milliseconds with 0.5 seconds. So after recognize the face, and then the relay will be short circuits for 0.5 seconds. So here is multiple face recognition, like it can detect multiple face and also the largest face. And here also retreat. And all this here is the serial port mode, and you can select the first one means the open door, like to output the relay signal. And if you select 2, the relay signal will not output. So which means after you recognize the face and the relay, so which means we will not control the door to open. And the third one is the personal ID, which will output the personal ID data through the serial port. And the fourth, as it's named, it's very easy to understand. So for the time limit, the other parameters I will not introduce in detail, but later in the software, you can also see this kind of interface. It's quite similar because all the settings are based on the API. And for the face tool device, I will introduce very briefly. So here it's like it's the callback setting. So the device will automatically send back the attendance records and the image register image, because if you use the device to register the information of the person, and then after it take the face picture, and then it will call back the face picture to the URL as you said. And also after you set this kind of when the device is recorded, and then it will send upload automatically to the URL as you said. And here is the content. Basically, it's modify the logo, and you see the device main interface has the area to display the logo, and you can change the logo here to use the tool. So it's very easy. And here is the personal management. So for this kind of tool, it can only do some basic testing of the personal management. Like you can add the ID and name and ID card and add the person. And after you add the person, and then it will send the person info to the device. For example, we add the person, and you can see here it will return the successful information like the time. And so after you receive this kind of message, and then which means the person information is already set to the add to the device. And also for the update, delete, and the register card. So register card, like if you click it and then you move the card close to the card reader, and then it will return the card number. And also the face photo here, and you can select photo, taking photo by the device. You also can achieve by this kind of tool. So and here you can see the records. You can read the records from the device, and you can check specific check the records with a specific, or the you can set the length, because the records will be separated by page, and you can set each page has how many records. And here is the page number, because the page number starts by 0, and you can select which page you want. And here is the start time. You can check the time from when to when to get the records. So all this face tool. So it's very simple tool, and for achieve the functions of the device, how to control of the device. Can you see clear? How about now? So okay, we will trying to get the video more clear, and let's see the questions. Okay, we see the questions from the chat, and the first question from Christina: does it have a functionality similar to automatic device model? Saying the ADMS. For this kind of device with the same network or the cloud network or public network, and then you can get the records and develop, because you can develop your software and to get the records. What we can device for is like through the API, it only provide the interface, that how you communicate with the device through the LAN network or the public network, and the rest need to develop by yourself, and how once you get this kind of record and how to process the data and how to use this kind of data, it depends on the secondary development. So the second question from the Akano: does it have cloud connectivity over the internet? Yes, it has. You can connect with yes, you can connect with the public network, and then through the public network to control this kind of device. For third question, the Joga, does it support two relays? Is it relay? Two relays if needed. Currently, the device only supports, it has one relay hardware, and it only supports one relay. For the next question is Arcano. Can I download the attendance via USB? Uh, when you insert a USB drive, the device cannot automatically download the data. But what you need to do is like through the API to get the record. Because through the API you can call the commands and the device know it will return the data through the network. In the next question, in regards to time length function, if it can be integrated to my system, would it be possible that the employees can select position to work on? Select solution. So for this kind of question, if you want to integrate this kind of function with your existing system, so what you need to do is like read the API which we provide for the device, and then you can add a function according to the API, and to get the after you get the records, you can get the information or data you want and which relate to the system, and you can debug by yourself. And the next question is that the connection has to be started by PC software. Because, for example, the device is installed for somewhere and fix the position, and then what you need to do is like you need to get the records or settings through the network. So you need such kind of interface or the window to do the settings or the get the records. So you can use the software we provided, and also you can develop the software yourself, and to achieve the interacting with the device. And the next question is like a mask alert. Mask alert function not working. Already enable the settings. For the mask alert, this function is quite new function, which is started from the new version of the app. We add this kind of function. Several things. The first one is that check the app version is the latest one that which support this kind of function. The next one is like to check whether this mask alert function already set by device, which means the device always know that you set this kind of alert. And after that, you need to restart the device or reset the device to get this kind of function initialize. So after that, I think the mask alert function will be work. Because by now all the latest version of the apps they already add this kind of function in your device. So the next question is, can we install our own app in this device for our we get notification from our service UIs? The answer is that you can install your app in the device. Uh, and as you can use it as the Android device. But if you want to use the face recognition and the face features, you must need to use our default apps because, as you know, the face recognition relate to the face algorithm used. So you need to use this kind of algorithm because our algorithm is integrated in the device, which is not cannot change. So if your apps do not use the face recognition, then you can install by yourself to the device and use developer as you want. And another question, how is the thermal camera calibrated in version 01 FA1? To ask this kind of question, I think you already have our device in your hand. So this question is I want to know it's like your temperature detecting is not correct or something else. If it's not correct, you need to share us more information about that. How the thermal is not correct, and we will check it in more detail.你弄这样不行吗？你这样怎么？那现在怎么样？
然后我电脑还是这个屏幕。
拔了。你拔的要装软件哦。没有啊，没什么问题啊。高。So wait some seconds because now, as you said, as the audience said that because the video is not very clear, so we will use a small laptop to show the video and to make it more clear. 这个我看的地方面，你要看的画面，看到吗？还是看不清。马上灯关掉。都关掉了，都关掉了。这个太亮了。 Okay, so maybe it is the camera issue. So we trying to make it more clear, but now what we can do is like here. To saving the time, so we will start the software part. So here, this is the login interface of the face recognition system, the software. So after you install it and then run this kind of software, so admin and the default username and password is admin. So after that, we log in the system. So this is the main interface of the system. So in the main interface, so it will have 6 sections, and each section will have the different functions. So the first one here is the personal management, so which will use to enroll or register the personal information. And the second one is the device management. So the first time you use this software, you need to go to these sections to do the settings to communicate with the device. So here is access control management. And the first one, this section will see the records. So all the records will display in this section. So here is the user management, which means the management the user who can log in this software. You can manage the user in this section. So how many users are registered, add new users who can log in this software, and you can set here. And the last part is the system configuration. So the system configuration will do the basic setting of this kind of software. So we move to the device management first. So into the device management, because we need to link the device. So first, as you can see here, this is the device, and you can see here, once the device is connected with once the device connect with the network, with the same network of the PC or laptop, and then you can, that's an easy way to search the device. You can click here the search button. Here, more close. The search button, and then after you click it, and then it will search. It will search the device in the network, and after that, he will get the device. As you can see here, so we find this kind of device here through the network, and after it searching, and then you can add the device. So here we got two devices in the network, and it will be detected by the software, and we choose this one and add. So device add successfully, and it will show here. So the device will list here, which means now the device is can be communicated by this software. And after that, we go here. Here's the parameter on the left, the second tab. So into this parameter, you will do the basic setting or configuration of the device. And here you can see the interface very familiar with, because in the phase tool we already introduced. So the settings here has the same settings for the device. The first is a network setting. More close. So the network parameter, and then you can do some setting of the network, like Wi-Fi setting and also the wild setting. So according to this, it's not clear to display in the screen. So more details, you can see the documents, and also we have the user manual of this kind of face recognition system, which very will introduce the how to use this kind of system very detailed. So today we will directly move to the Q&A section. So to answer some technical questions from the audience who concerned about the device. So we can all the questions about the device you can ask here, and then we can answer to it. So if you have questions about the device, you can ask on the chat, and we will answer one by one. Okay, let's start for the first question from uh, Chromna. So, do you have any standard for the picture to be sent to face recognition? We want to use software to verify the picture before sending the face recognition device. Yes, for the face picture, we have the document which is the requirements of the face image. So in that document, it will list all the requirements that how the image should be, and then it can be sent to the device for the face recognition. So the next question: can we fetch records that are yet to be fetched only? Uh, for this kind of device, you can fetch the records uh, by the API command. So when you send the command to search the records, also the device can, after setting, it can send the records automatically to the, as we mentioned, that to the URL that you want. And for the cloud app for this model, currently for the cloud app, it requires the customer to develop themselves because what we provide is the cloud API documents, and then according to reference to the documents, and then you can develop yourself for the cloud function. Next question is that can the device work as a typical time attendance system with clock in, clock out, temperature mask, device name, IP, employee ID name as one report. For this device that the typical time attendance system is like a setting for all the data, and they can management the data into the one report. So for this device, then the software it will show what it can do is that each records and then will have the different fields like temperature, mask, and the device name also. And uh, you need to assess this kind of data by yourself, and then how to like it's very uh, flexible for the customer to use that, because all the data you can be upload, and then what you need to do is like to process this kind of data by yourself and as to meet your requirements, because different customer will have different requirements for the data, and some they need and some they don't need. The next question is that is there any functions to control the clocking out function to start and stop from the software? Uh, this kind of function is like a very typical attendance function. For this software, what it can support is like fetch the data from the device, and the data format will be already set it. So it cannot set the start and stop for the software. So another question. So if a person walks in and out of office, each time he will show his face on uh, attendance device. Can the device do auto switch? For this, because one device can only be checked. The records will be checked by the time because according to the time it cannot auto switch for to detect which time that the record is for the workout or working, but it can be only be the time referenced. And what you can do is like for the clock in, clock out, and you can set the time period for which time period is for clock in and which time period for clock out. Then you can separate these kind of records. So next question is like, does this support any web API like REST, SOAP, or WebSocket MQTT so that it can integrate with existing web app? We have to get the live data with image captured. So for this kind of device, that all the web development will be reference to the API. So our API is the HTTP protocol, and then you can send the different commands to the device, and then the device will return the data to that request. So after you receive this kind of data, and then you can process it to integrate with any other web API. Like if they support the HTTP to get the data, and you can integrate them to the web API or your existing system. So the next question is like, we are looking at manually updating the above folder with photos from our cloud application. How can we do this? This question is not very clear, but for my understanding, if the if you are going to like to use your folder which will contains all the photos with the exist face image, and then you can make this kind of face image link it to our software and then to upload to the device. But if it's not used, you also need to make the, because our device can bulk import the user information to the software. So, but it has the need to do the work is like you need to rename the face image and then use the software to import bulk many of the user information, but you need to follow the format of the like Excel file and also the image file requirements. So after that, it can be work. And if my answer is not what you ask, so you can ask more in details to let me know. And move to the next question. A device cannot stand as single device to choose in and out like punch card did. Yes, because the device will the single device, what it can do is only record the recognition logs, like to related to the time, what time it is recognize the face and what time it's recognized, because the single device can only do the recognition work. But if we use the two device, like set one device to be to use for working, and the second device to use for the workout, and then these two combine with the two records of the device, and then it can achieve that kind of function to management the records. So the next question is like, if the device is installed on different locations, can single software management manage those devices installed in different locations? The answer is that if you use our own software, the software is only for the line network, which cannot be communicate with the device which is installed in different locations. So to achieve this kind of functions, like different locations to management the devices, so it needs to develop the cloud software by yourself, and then it can be communicate with devices in different locations. And we also provide the API for cloud communicate with the device. So you can use that to achieve this kind of function. So next question is like, we have a repeated issue where the real-time data is not synced to the software. So for the real-time data is not synced, this question, like sometimes it has several problems, issues. It will cause that real-time data to sync. One is that the firewall. So if the PC open the firewall, maybe sometimes the firewall will reject the data transmitting. So it will block some of data. And after that, then the device will don't know the data whether it transmit successful or not, and then it will stop to sync the data. And sometimes the device has time, because the real-time data it will check every 1 minute by the heartbeat protocol. So for the heartbeat, every 1 minute the device will check that the data whether it is transmitted. Once the data is transmitted, and then the software will respond with the success return message, and the device will receive this kind of message, and then it will stop to re-upload the already upload the records. So after that, the only new records created, and then it will upload again. The next question is like, can we give a schedule like 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. to capture the face in that specific time range? Uh, the question is, the answer is that you can, is yes. You can set this kind of schedule for the device, and then within this kind of period, and then the face recognition is active, and then outside this period, and then to stop this kind of uh, uh, face recognition function, and then the device will not face recognition for the uploaded user, because when you set it, because we have the API, and then to enable the face recognition function and disable the face recognition function. So the next question, can I use this device for time attendance only and clock in, clock out function? Uh, if you want to use this kind of device to do the time attendance, one thing that you need to do is like you need to develop the software on your own, because one single device cannot separate the records by clock in or clock out. It need to develop these kind of features by yourself to meet the requirements of your logic and according to the records data you receive. And then after that, you can use this for the time attendance function. The next question is like, will the device delete the data after transferring the captured data to the software? The answer is no. The device will not delete the uh, data after transfer to the software, and it will still store in the device. But the device will overwrite the records when it where the memory size is when memory space is running out, and then it will loop return. And for check the what data is stored in the device and how to manage this. And once you use the software and also the uh, uh, you through the API, you get the data records, and then the records will be separated by the time, and it will show which time it take this kind of records, and then you can check it, and also you can management or query this kind of records by the specific person ID. For example, if you want to see a specific person records, and then you can type the person ID and to fetch this ID, fetch the records for this specific user. For the time attendance, you need to. It is better to develop the software by yourself according to the API, because currently our device can get the data is like which time that the person do the recognition, and it will return the data or records. And then the very powerful time attendance functions that you need, because different area or different company, they will use different they have different requirements for the time attendance, and this better to develop by yourself. The next question is like, can we set schedule from built-in software, or can only set the schedule from the API? And for the software, currently provided, the function is like to schedule. The software cannot be scheduled for the time, but for the API, in the software and the API, we also have the disabled face recognition button, and you can develop it. For example, you can set it which time, and then call the disabled API for the face recognition, and then the face recognition function will be disabled, and for which time period, and then to enable the face recognition, and then it will be achieved. For the question from Harry, HIP, yes, you're right. If you want to directly separate the in and out, it is better you get two devices for one entrance, because then you will easily to separate the in and out records, and accordingly from the in device you can get the records, and from the out device you can get the records, and separate them. For the question from Kingston, yes, the software has the button to control the device to start recognition or stop recognition. In the software device setting interface, and then it will, you can find the buttons to enable or disable the recognition of face. And any other questions for today's sleep? So now the question is, how does the device work with store and other access control devices? It depends on the work environment. For example, if you use the access control access controller, because some controller has the control board. The control board will provide a different port to connect with the different module device. For example, some controller will can connect with the card module, or our device, like the face recognition device, which will be treated as the reader. So for the control board, if it supports the vacant port or some other port, you can link them together and to communicate to achieve the access control. And if you use our device to control the door, like the door has the magnetic lock, or the turnstile. As I mentioned, you can use the relay signal port only to control this kind of door. For example, once the face is recognized, the relay is like a switch, and you will switch on, and then the door will be open. And then after some time delay, and then the relay signal will be removed, and then the door will be closed. So it's two different environments. And for Harry HIP, the question, the device NO and the COM is cut off straight, and no relay building inside. No, the device has the relay building relay. Once, if you get the device, you can hear the beep from the device when you recognize the face. Each time the face is recognized, and then the relay will deduct something like that. It has the built-in relay. But the built-in relay can only stand for the maximum voltage is 5 volt. So it's very small, not a very big relay. So there's another question, like working and using the device features from another Android app. If the Android app you want this to install on our device, so one thing is that the face recognition cannot be used, because the face recognition related to the face algorithm, so which will requires use our default app only for the face recognition function. So if other features like if you want to use the Android app installed in mobile to control our device, the answer is yes. You can develop through the API to use the HTTP, which can communicate with our device and then do the corresponding features or settings. And also, if you want to develop your own Android app on our device without a face recognition function, the answer is also yes, you can do by yourself according to the Android API, standard API, to do the development. So I think there are many questions about this kind of device, and I hope my answer can make you more understand our device. And may I know any other questions by now? So if there's no any other questions, so today's live show will be end by now. So thanks for your watching, and also we will apologize for the poor video sharing. Next time we will be better and make the live show more clear and easy to and we will also try our best to give you more information about our device. And thanks for watching again, and see you next time. Okay, here the last questions. We will answer this. We have requirements. Well, the client needs an option to remotely upload the face recognition photo directly to the individual FR device or the laptop managing the device. How can we do this? Device. So if you want to remotely upload the face recognition photo, which means if you want to register this kind of face photo through the public network, and then what you need to do is like to according to the cloud API, and to make the link together with the device, and then through the cloud, and then you can communicate with our device, and then use the API which is used to register the face image, and then use that you can achieve your functions. So I think that's all for today's live show, and thanks for watching, and see you next time.